Once upon a time, in a quiet village far from the city, there lived an elderly man who had no family. His only companion was a little blind dog he had rescued from the streets a year earlier. Though the dog couldn't see, his heart was full of love, and he became the elderly man's guide and closest friend. The man grew very attached to his dog, as he was the one ray of joy in his otherwise lonely days. One day, early in the morning, the man began to feel unwell. At first, he thought he was just tired, but his condition quickly worsened. He tried to rest, thinking he would feel better after taking a pain reliever, but his breathing became difficult, and he started feeling weak and unable to move. Struggling to breathe, he lay helpless in his bed, realizing the true loneliness of his isolated life. The only one by his side was his loyal dog, who, despite his blindness, could sense something was wrong. The dog had become attuned to his owner's routine. He was used to the man petting him frequently and moving around the house. But today, his owner was lying still, breathing heavily. The dog didn't know what was happening, but he felt an overwhelming urge to do something. Driven by a deep instinct, the dog ran to the door and began barking with all his strength. This little blind dog, usually so calm, was now desperately calling for help, scratching and pressing his paws against the door in a way he had never done before. Meanwhile, the next-door neighbor heard the dog's persistent barking. The dog was normally so quiet, so the neighbor was concerned. She knocked on the door but received no answer, so she pushed the door open and stepped inside. There, she found the small blind dog standing near the door, guiding her as if to lead her somewhere. She followed the dog's cues and found the elderly man lying unconscious in his bedroom. She immediately called emergency services, and the ambulance arrived shortly afterward. Thanks to the quick response, the man's life was saved. Doctors said that if they had arrived a few minutes later, the outcome could have been far worse. The neighbor explained how the brave little dog had called for help. The elderly man, with tears in his eyes, hugged his dog tightly. He couldn't believe the courage his companion had found to save him. When the man was discharged from the hospital, he showered his dog with treats and never missed a chance to express his gratitude. The story of this blind hero dog quickly spread through the village, and everyone admired the courage this little dog had shown to save his owner's life. That day, everyone in town was talking about the dog's bravery. His blindness had not limited his courage. Instead, it had amplified his love and loyalty. He was now the most cherished member of the village, and his story would be told for years to come.